This video, I'm going to continue with part 3 of the POE document. So activity 5 now speaks about writing a self-reflection report and then to complete a self-evaluation. So I will go back to my POE I've created, right, on my drive. Now you can see that I've already created for activity 1, task 1, activity 1, task 2, activity 2, activity, and then activity 4. Activity 3 was the network diagram that I created, and I also saved the network diagram picture here. So that's activity 3 that I created. Activity 4, I created my PowerPoint, so I've got both my PowerPoint, okay, this file here that's there, and then I've also got the MPEG-4 file that I've created as well. So now, if here, I can see that I've got a recording. I can then go to my recording and I can play. I can save it as a show, or I can play the recording from the beginning, right? So if I play the beginning, there's the recording that has been done. I can simply play the audio. Hi, I'm Suben, and I'll be presenting my Network Architecture POE Activity 4 presentation today. I am part of the HSU 1 Group 1, and this is the Architecture 5122 module. Then I'll go on to my next slide, and I'll say, in this presentation, we cover the introduction of the server, the installation of the client. So either now save it as your PowerPoint with the recording, like I've done here, okay? And then you can also export it if required, but not necessary to export the video. See here, you can say export, and then it allows us now to export it as a MPEG-4. If the size now is too large, we can change the resolution here. We can make it standard, right? We can use the recording times, total spent on each, and then you can then create your video. Okay, so there's a number of options that we have available here to make it smaller. So if I say export, you will see this time it's going to as a smaller file. The last time was HD. So whilst that is exporting, I'm going to continue with the next demo. So let me now go to my folder, create now a new Word document, and I'm going to call it NWAR POE. This is activity 5. This is the self-reflection report. Self-reflection report. Activity 5. Let me just rename that. Self-reflection report. Okay. NWAR POE activity 5. Self-reflection report. And in this report, I'm going to type in the answers to these questions. Right, so there's some questions here. I'm going to type in the answers to these questions. Self-reflection report. I'll type NWAR POE, my activity 5, self-reflection report. And then I will answer these questions in this report. Okay, so I need to answer these questions, and then I'm going to save that. Then the last document that I would need to create would be new Word document. And this is going to be my NWA POE activity 5. And this is going to be self-evaluation. Self-evaluation. So for the self-evaluation, I'm going to go and copy that table from this PDF document. So there's the self-evaluation. So let me copy this into my Word document, self-evaluation. So I also need to type NWAR 5122 POE activity 5 self-evaluation. And then I'm going to, okay, let's see if it's going to allow me to copy. So it doesn't paste the table for me. Let me see if I can import the table. I'm going to go to, okay. I'm going to draw up my own self-evaluation table. Let's see what they've got in the self-table. They've got criteria, reflection, demonstration of learning, organization of report, and clarity. And I need to give myself a score. Okay. So I need 2 columns. 2 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. So I'm going to say insert table. And I'm going to insert a table. And the is criteria. And the next one is score. So what is the first criteria? Demonstration of learning. Next criteria, the first one is reflection. And the next one is demonstration of learning. And the next one is organization of report and clarity of report. So I'm going to give myself a score between 1 and 3 here. And then lastly, they've got this one. It says demonstration. And then they've total. Okay, so a score from 1 to 3, I could give myself reflection maybe 2, 3, and this one you leave blank, right? Provided by the lecturer. Demonstration that learning has taken place from addressing comments and feedback provided by the lecturer. And then total of this is 689 out of 10. So I give myself a mark like this. So this is activity 5, self-evaluation. I also need to put in my student number here. Okay, so every document needs to be clearly labeled. So then just to review now, I'm going to go back and look at what is all of the documents that I have in my POE folder. All right. So I'm going to just arrange it by modified. So, okay, let's see what I've got and let's see how big these files are. So activity 1, task 1, which is my marked task 1 with feedback. So as we said, in this document, I'm going to go and look at my marked task 1 with feedback. So I'm just going to go and open guideline documents that I have. So my guideline document. So I'm looking for my NWAR5122 guidelines, right? So this was my first part 1 that I submitted. Just ready to open. Part 1 guidelines, there's it here. All right, so this is what I submitted for part 1. So I'm going to copy and paste this one into this document that says activity with feedback, and then I'm going to put in my feedback here, which is my marking rubric that I need to copy. So I'm going to go and look at my assignment marking rubric. Said you get that from RC Learn. I'm just going to copy it from my marking rubric here. Part 2 marking rubric, part 1 marking, let's see. Part 1 feedback, part 1 marking rubric. Okay, so I'm going to copy this marking rubric that I have and I'm going to put it inside this document. And then I'm going to save it. And I'm done with this one. The same now. Okay, so I will do the same for the rest of these documents as well. So in total now I've got activity 1 past task 1, task 2, my ICE activities, which I've copied from RC Learn, my ICE report that I've done by answering the questions. So again, what questions was I supposed to answer? Let's go and have a look. So if I look at this activity now, I go back to my POE. Ask questions that I need to answer. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go inside this document. My report. Remember, all of your reports need to have your title that says, what is this document about? This is NWAR5122 POE. This is activity 2. And then you need to say that this is the ICE task report. ICE task report. And you also need to include your identifying information. And then you start answering the questions. Okay. So I've now completed my POE. So the POE now you can see has got all of these different documents stored inside my POE folder. So I will need to go back and check that I have all of these different documents stored in the correct place. So in total, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 documents. Okay, and ensure that they are labeled correctly, that each of your documents, inside the documents, you've included your student number. And that concludes the demo now for the demo POE. Now, how do you submit your POE? Okay, so let's just see if it's going to allow us to submit a a PowerPoint file. I'm just going to go and check now. Will it allow me to submit a PowerPoint file? So I'll go into RC Learn. And from RC Learn, I'm now going to go into my module. I'm just going to choose any of the modules. And I'm looking for my submission links. Right. Part 1, part 2, and then there's my portfolio of evidence. Now, when I select my portfolio of evidence, I'm going to be looking at browse local files. I'm going to go to my OneDrive where I've stored all of my work. The NWAR POE folder. I'm going to select all of the files. And I'm going to say open. It's in use. It means something is open. So I'm going to close all of the files that I have open. Right, I'm going to try again. So let's try again. So, yes, it does allow me to have a PPTX file. Now notice when I'm submitting my work, I did not zip it and then submit it, right? I've selected all of the files without, I agree, yes. So without having a zipped file, there's all of my different files that have been added, right? And then I'm going to submit. So you select all of the files, and then when you've submitted, you can go back and check now what was submitted. All right, so if I look at the submission, okay, so yours will be saved, but mine is not. All right. So that's how I'm going to submit my POE, not as a zipped file, but the individual files. So even your PowerPoint, you don't need to export it like I've shown in the video, right? You can simply save the file as it is. And that concludes this video.